Aloha everyone and welcome to another Tinkers Academy video. I'm your host Kay Elmer, and this video is an introduction to do-it-yourself microcurrent. So there's various therapies, multiple different devices, and all the accessories that go with them. If you're interested in having a little handheld device that can help you manage pain and manage pain plus healing. So that's what this is all about, and let's go ahead and jump right in. So the very first thing, obviously, I got some disclaimers. This video is not medical advice. And I don't have any affiliation with any products mentioned. I don't sell anything. I'm not an affiliate, any of that stuff. This is just about like what I know and all the different things that I own, and I want to share it with you because YouTube is essentially adult show and tell. Here's my presentation. Okay, now the thing that you do need to know about microcurrent, though, is number one, the most important thing is do not use microcurrent device. Don't use any bioelectrical magnetic device if you have electrical implants. If you've got something inside of you that runs on electricity, you don't want to be zapping yourself with electricity. It is common sense, but needs to be stated. Okay, and also, clearly do not use if you are pregnant or are in chronic ill health. There's just not enough research. If you go to Google Scholar and you start looking up like microcurrent, TENS, all these different acronyms I'm going to share with you. There's tons of studies that are basically proving the efficacy of these types of devices and these modalities. However, there's very little about what does it happen if you've got a baby in you, or you're super still sick, stage 4, so I don't recommend that. I just don't think that don't take that risk. Specifically, especially if you're pregnant. Okay, so that's not for you. And also, too, the thing that a lot of people don't realize about using bioelectric devices is, excuse me, is that scars, excuse me, are problematic with the flow of current in the body. So if you're trying to send a current from one point to another point in your body and you have a scar, it's going to interfere with that current flow. So you'll have to be really aware of that in terms of your probe placement to get the best effects. Now, for best results, okay, this is what's key too, is that optimal hydration and mineralization is required. If you're dehydrated or you're just, you're really minerals insufficient, the electricity in your body is not going to travel very well. And you just won't get optimal benefits by using these devices, and you probably feel like crap. So you need to be really hydrated, because water is a conductor and minerals are conductors, so in order for the electricity in your body to flow on a normal basis, and even more so if you're in a healing situation where you need some healing. So these devices, they work best when you are hydrated and mineralized. And lastly, when you're putting electrodes on your body, I don't know, sometimes people need to know, but clean your skin. You want as less amount of stuff between the probe and your body as possible, and so being very clean where you put your probes is also a best results technique. Okay, now the thing about microcurrent, and you're probably wondering this already, but this is what's key about it, and this is all has a ton of science to support it. Okay, as I mentioned, so now what the benefits are of microcurrent therapy is the number one thing that it does is it increases ATP production. Now that's the energy that fuels all of your biochemical functions in your body. It is literally the gasoline by which you run. If you don't have ATP or you have low ATP, you will know it, you will feel it, and you will not feel very well. If you didn't have any ATP, you would drop dead. That's how important ATP is. So this actually increases ATP in your body, and then also reduces pain, reduces inflammation, and reduces swelling. It improves circulation and cellular metabolism. And here, a very high point here now is that it accelerates wound healing and injury recovery. That's why I own several of these. I'll show them to you in a second. But I own them to basically manage pain, and then even more so, I own them to help me heal. And heal injuries of all makes and models. Okay, and they're exceptional at doing that, and it can heal all sorts of stuff, everything from migraines to constipation, you name it. It has got microcurrent devices, and microcurrent therapy is an incredible drug-free, no side effects approach towards modern medicine that for whatever reason, right, our doctors would rather give us drugs. But this is an alternative to that. Works extremely well. You buy the device once and you don't ever have to go and get any more pills, right? And maybe that's could be a reason why you don't hear about it, but it works, and it works great. And so I highly recommend you try this if you haven't already. Lastly, it increases range of motion and muscle function, and it also can be used for vagus nerve stimulation, which is a real big deal if you understand what the vagus nerve is and its role in basically your body and how it basically runs everything. And so being able to stimulate that, put yourself into a parasympathetic or sympathetic response. It can help manage stress. It can help with digestion. I mean, there's so much stuff you could do by simply stimulating your vagus nerve. And then lastly, the microcurrent, this is the weird thing about where the phrase microcurrent stands right now. If you Google it or you go onto YouTube and you search for microcurrent, you're going to get just a dump truck full of videos and information about how microcurrent is for cosmetics. And because it does work, it tones and sculpts facial muscles and improves elasticity. It's exceptional for cosmetics, but the cosmetic industry has completely basically hijacked the word microcurrent, and you really have to dig to find out what else can microcurrent do, and where do you go from there. So I'm not going to even go into the cosmetic aspect of it. That's not my thing at all. I could care less. I'm a guy, but it's really good on that. And then like I just said, if you try to find anything on microcurrent, you're going to have to dig for it in terms of how it works for pain and healing, because all you're going to get is just tons and tons of content about cosmetics uses of it, which is good, by the way. So anyway, it reduces fine lines and wrinkles, and it diminishes breakouts and acne. And yes, all this stuff, what it really does. Lots of science, lots of studies that support every one of these bullets. So it's a really great thing. It really is a great thing. So now again, as I mentioned, there's different types of microcurrent devices. The two that I'm focusing on and am focused on is pain and then pain plus healing devices. Again, as I mentioned, there's cosmetic devices, there's devices for your head, for cranial stimulation, from everything from helping you with the stress to addiction. There's even cranial devices that'll help you improve your memory. If you're like a student and you had to learn something, you turn that thing on and it helps you remember. And there's these things called zappers, which are also a microcurrent device. By definition, if you just look up the word, what does microcurrent mean? By definition, you've got zappers, and those are referred to as like Beck zappers, Clark zappers. They're meant to just basically eliminate pathogens and parasites, things like that. So those are the world of zappers, but they're microcurrent devices based on the definition. But this video, I'm going to be talking about pain and pain plus. And so, like, again, if you go on Google and you type in microcurrent devices, look at all the different, this is just a snapshot of the Google page of just all the different available microcurrent devices. And the thing scrolls down to like 30, 40 pages because there's just so many different devices out there. So there's a lot to know about what one is best for you and what depending on what you want to use it for. But yeah, there's different devices. I'm going to be talking about pain and pain plus today. So now this is what the pain and pain plus therapies are in the microcurrent world. Now, your number one most readily available one, and there's, I guess, would be over 100 different models of just a TENS device. Now, what that stands for is transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, and it just uses low voltage electrical currents to relieve pain. That's it. That's all it does. Okay, that's all it does. It gives you a higher than normal level of microcurrent that the other devices have lower, but this one has a high one, and it's all meant to just simply block your pain. It's going to numb out your nerves, and you don't feel the pain. So it works great if pain's all you're concerned about, but it's not meant for helping you heal. But like I said, because it does send current from one probe to the other probe, you can use it to stimulate your vagus nerve, and that's probably the only healing aspect of a TENS unit that I am aware of, is using it for vagus nerve stimulation. But a TENS unit purely for pain. Now, there's other units out there, and there's these combo units, and they all have something called EMS. Now, EMS stands for electrical muscle stimulation, which involves sending electrical impulses to your muscles to promote blood flow and strengthen your muscles. So like people who have gone into surgery, and let's say their leg is atrophied, you'll get, though, the doctors will prescribe an EMS device. They put the EMS device on, and it starts just pulsing the muscles of the leg that atrophied and helps the muscles, basically bulk back up. And that's what it's for. So it's kind of like a little massage unit for your muscles. And that's what that one's for, and it helps for pain as well. Now, IF is interferential stimulation. It's a type of electrical stimulation for pain relief, again, and healing. So it does have a healing component. And the thing about it is it involves the simultaneous application of two sine waves at different frequencies. So this is where you get into this world of, instead of just sending current, you're sending current plus frequency. And that's when you get into IF, and you also start getting into FSM, which is frequency specific microcurrent. And these are all the different acronyms. I'm sorry, guys. This is how it is. And now FSM is like a gentle nudge to your body's natural healing system. It uses these tiny electrical currents, like what your nerves already use, to target sore spots. And it also helps with pain, inflammation, and it helps speed up healing. So now FSM and IF both use two different outputs. Each one has a different frequency on it, and it's based on the combination of those two creating a little harmonic. So it's really different in the world of microcurrent devices, but the whole idea, though, it's more like there's a frequency induced in there and the different sine waves that are used. And I won't get too technical, but that's the difference between just something to numb you out, something to pulse your muscles, versus something to actually send you frequency, right, into wherever you're sending the current. So it's current plus frequency. Now, the last one is the CNAR. Now, CNAR stands for Self-Controlled Ergo-Neuroadaptive Regulator. It's a device that was created by the Russians years and years ago. It's a computerized transdermal device that uses biofeedback to help the body heal itself of pain and dysfunction. The CNAR transmits a radio signal, or not a radio signal, but a signal into nerve receptors in the skin, and then listens to the body's response, and then basically interacts with your brain, figures out what's the best frequency and amount of current to send based all on its circuitry and its little mini database that's in the device, and then sends that specific frequency and current into wherever the probe is based on what your brain told it to do and what it knows from its database. So it's really, really high tech, and they're the most expensive devices on top of the clinical versions of the FSM. Otherwise, these are, the point of this video is about DIY. So these are all things you can do at home, and this is the way you could do it if you want to do FSM at home. There is a way to do, or IF, or you can do CNAR handheld devices. I'm not going to get into what people use in clinics, which are large devices, really super expensive, but based on all the same technology. Now, the last one here is just wanted to share with you before I get into the demonstration video. Is the selection criteria. Now, if you're out looking for, you're interested in this, and you're like, hey, how much money do I want to spend, and what should I get? Then that's what this video is, to kind of explain what your choices are. Now, the objective here is, what's your objective? Again, this video is only about pain and pain plus, but if that's your thing, then you've got lots and lots and lots of choices. What's your budget? That's the first thing. If you're just going after pain, these two devices here, these all are under $100. And they're just simple TENS units. They're simple microcurrent devices. And they do work for pain. If that's all you want to care about, you can get by with easily under $100. Now, of course, if you start looking at some of these more advanced models, they have a lot more features and a lot more support that comes with it. And also there's this concept of home models, right? Models that you would use at home, and then models that they sell to clinicians that have a ton more features than just the home models. Now, just to give you an example, if you were to buy like a CNAR for home, you're maybe spending like $500, but you want to buy a CNAR to use in your clinic, that's a lot more robust with more features, you're looking at, $3,000. So that kind of thing, right? So it gets really expensive if you want to do the pro versus home. And of course, I do the home versions of everything. The other thing that's really important is the ease of use. How easy is it to use these things, and what's the learning curve? And I'll share that with you in the demo video coming up next. And lastly, are there accessories, specific electrodes for the specific thing you want to treat? And that's what's really important. If you want to, let's say, use an electroacupuncture electrode, well, they're not going to work with a TENS unit kind of thing. So if you want to do a specific thing, you need to make sure you've got that their electrode exists for that, or a pad. And then secondly is what does it plug into? And then that kind of makes your decision. So here we go. Let's jump into the the demo video where I go over my different devices that I own and what I like and don't like, and then all the different accessories that go with that. And I do want to apologize in advance because the electrode piece of that video is a little shaky, and you know, I just kind of suck at doing videos sometimes, and that was one of those moments. I want to apologize for that ahead of time because it does get a little shaky, but you know, I try my best. Anyway, so here you go. Let's go talk with the demo now and kind of show you what's going on in my world. All right, so here's a quick demo of the different devices that I have, and I just kind of want to walk you through the microcurrent devices and the different types. So right off the bat, I've got the Soda Biotuner, and this is for cranial applications. It treats addiction and so forth. So this is for your head, and this one right here are these four right here are what I would call Beck zappers for parasites and pathogens. And then in terms of actual, like, you know, microcurrent devices specifically for pain and pain plus, as I've been discussing, this is my go-to. And these are the really inexpensive ones, these two here. But I chose this one a long time ago. It's just really popular and it works just great. It's perfect for pain. And you know, you can also use it to stimulate your vagus nerve, as I mentioned. And the thing that's really key about the difference between a TENS and other little microcurrent devices for pain and pain plus, right, for healing, is TENS units are dual channels. You see how there's two different I guess jacks for the electrodes, and then the same thing here with this model. It's called the Intensity. It's got two different jacks. So the whole idea though is you're going to have one electrode. It's a separate electrode with two. I'll show you in a second here, and then so basically you have two sets of electrodes, but every other one of these devices here, these are CNRs, this is another microcurrent device. Every one of these others have only one output jack. I guess I'll call it an output jack right there, for one set at a time. So TENS are two sets at a time. And again, they're mainly for pain. The thing about this guy here is he's purely just a TENS unit, really inexpensive. This guy's really inexpensive too. We're talking under 50 bucks. And this one's the Intensity. Now I chose this one because it was kind of like something I could play with. It also does it's a TENS unit, but it's a 4-in-1. So it also does EMS. It does IF, and I think it does one other feature, but it has multiple features, and this is the buttons here for, you know, basically selecting the mode. So these are your basic TENS units, under 50 bucks. If you're just, you know, focusing on pain and you're interested in like doing the vagus nerve stuff, then these are really great little go-tos. But the whole idea there, you know, is about price, right? So the prices go up significantly when you start getting into more advanced ones. Actually, before I jump into that, I just want to point out this microcurrent device here. This is basically it's an electro acupuncture device. And so the probe right here, there's no output jack. This little probe right there, you just put that on different acupuncture points and then you stimulate with microcurrent to those points. And that's what this little bud guy does. He's like under 50 bucks as well. Single purpose though, right? So just like this one is single purpose, these are all single purpose microcurrent devices. This one's got multiple different modes, but it's still single purpose. It's all for pain. Then you get into your more advanced microcurrent devices, and this is a tenant biomodulator. And then these two are CNRs. This is an RITM company. The Russian word for that is whatever that says. And then this one here is the DNAS PCM6. So what I want to point out though is that while these guys just do one thing roughly, these guys do pain, they help with pain, and it really works, and they also really help with healing, and they can put your body into a healing state, and they can talk to your brain through biofeedback circuitry and to stimulate your body's natural wound healing processes or injury healing processes. So they're quite advanced, and the reason that they get kind of pricey from this point on is just basically the concept of, you know, ease of use and more features. So the easier it is to use and the more features it has, then, you know, you're definitely going to be paying a lot more money. So this one here, the RITM Sport Model D. Now this was the one with just the LED lights, and there's another one that has a little screen. I don't even remember why I got this one. I've had this like way over 10 years. And so this one, ease of use is a 0. It sucks. I never remember how to set these stupid lights. Every time I ever want to use this thing, I got to go and watch the videos again, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. So I don't really use it. However, the funny thing is this is probably one of the best devices I own. So if I have a really acute problem and nothing else is working, I'll pull this guy out, watch the videos, and go start using it again. But the ease of use is horrible. I mean, you gotta know how the sequence of lights work. You gotta know when to press the buttons and how long to press the buttons, and it's a pain. So what I want to point out, now this puppy goes for around, in the day I paid like $350. I think they're going for like $500-600 now. And there's also more advanced models of this one now. There's another advanced model of this. This is the PCM6. It's also a CNR. And one of the things that's nice about CNRs, and again, it is different. It's a little bit of a unique take on microcurrent, because they're just simply, CNRs are just simply, as I mentioned, they have their own acronym. They come out of Russia. They are a microcurrent device, but they've got this is the thing. They have these are CNRs. This is just a microcurrent device. It's not a CNR, but what they all have in common is they have basically biofeedback circuitry, where it literally talks to your brain across your nervous system, and then basically stimulates your body's natural healing processes. And that's what's really unique, and that's why they're way more expensive than just a machine that outputs microcurrent. These guys literally have circuitry that goes way beyond that. In fact, the Tenet biomodulator here has also body voltage. It can measure cellular voltage, and one of the key features about this guy is right here. Let me just flip it on, and let's see. I don't know if there's a battery in here. I didn't check. Okay, there's no battery in here. I obviously do not store with batteries. Anyway, but if you see right here, there's this little mode right there. There's only 4 modes. And the one mode here is automatic, and that is what makes this one of the most superior products out there, plus all the accessories, plus the support system and the free training that comes with it. But yeah, with this thing, the auto mode is a godsend when you're just, you don't feel like learning something new. You pull this out, put it in auto mode, and then here's the probe right there. And of course it has external probes, but that shiny part right there is the electrode. You just put it on whatever hurts, and it's going to figure itself out and do it all by itself. You don't have to learn anything. You just put it in auto mode. That's why this is one of the most expensive microcurrent devices on the market, because not only does it have biofeedback capabilities, it has cellular voltage meter. It's also got all the intelligent circuitry in order for it to run in auto mode. It literally can just touch you and know what to do. This guy doesn't have that. This guy, you've got to set it, and then it goes to work. This guy, you set it and go to work. But what's really cool and what's advanced about the PCM6, and there is a PCM7 that just came out last year. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to turn this guy on. If I can just, come on, power up. There we go. Excuse me. Now the PCM 6 and 7, basically the company's called Danas, PCM 6, there's a PCM 7, this is the 6, but you see the menu right there. Now what makes this super easy to use is you just simply go to programs. You click on programs and you say, hey, what hurts? What hurts today? And so let's say I pick anything. I just say, well, you know what, let's see, I'll just go ahead and pick one. I want to work on my head. My throat hurts. Okay, my throat hurts. So I just click on that, and right there you'll see it shows you where to put the where do you put the electrode. Again, like a CNR, this is the shiny part is the electrode. This one here, same thing, right? So right here, it actually shows you where to do it. You got little pictures to follow. So you go to any one of these options here, and all of the different things. It's got let's say I got constipation, and I click here, and it shows, hey, you need to put the electrode right here, and you go in a circle of motion, counterclockwise, starting at the belly button. And then you click OK, and then you go and you you basically set your settings on strength. Whoops, got to go backwards right there. And then I go to strength. Okay, it's been a while. Oh, power. And then you set the power, the strength of the device in terms of how much you can feel it. And that's it. I mean, so that you can just imagine how much easier the PCM6 is to use, because when I want to use it, all I do is I just go and I go to the pick the program I want to run. I set the strength level, and then boom, I just touch it to myself or use an external electrode, and the thing just, it tells me what to do, and then I just turn it on. Again, like this, there's, you got no help at all. This puppy here, what's really cool about the Danas is this puppy sells for under $300. You can sometimes get them for like $197, $167. So highly recommend this one. This is a really great little CNR to have and to try out. And then if you want like the Cadillac of microcurrent devices, is going to be the Tenant biomodulator. And the reason, again, one of the major reasons that this one is about $3,000, but the key here is not only does it have this automatic mode, which no other CNR has, no other device has an automatic mode, but it also comes with some really killer accessories that you can get for it. On top of that, the training. You get a 3-day training. When you buy one of these, you get a 3-day, full day, 3 days of training that goes with that. You can either attend it online, which is what I did, or you can go to the I guess I ghosted in their facility in Texas, and you can attend in person. So, and then there's this huge support line. I mean, there's just so much built around using this device in terms of support, education, materials, information, choice of electrodes, and you name it. And that's why it just costs so much, because there's so much more wrapped around it than just, oh, hey, you know, go on Amazon and pay $40 and get a TENS. So that's the difference in the devices that I have. I hope you found this interesting. I'll do a separate video on how to pick out a Beck zapper, not to be confused with Clark zappers, but I won't go there. And then that's it for now. Okay, let's talk electrodes. Now, going back to just the TENS units, you basically have two flavors of electrodes, and these are called TENS pads, and these are these sticky things that you'll find almost everywhere, and they're pretty cheap, and they come with the units themselves, whether depending on what TENS unit you choose. Now there's going to be two sets of everything. Again, there's two output jacks, and so I typically, these are the ones where you would put one on black and red on each side of your area if you're just treating some sore muscles and pain. One of my favorite electrodes, or my pads, it's a TENS pad that I used when I used to use this all the time, was this long puppy right here. This thing's awesome. I mean, basically one side's red, one side's black, but it's just one giant pad like this, you see? And you can put this right across your bottom of your back. That's what I was treating for. And instead of having to kind of position all these things all around your body, you just slap on one big sticky, plug it into your TENS unit, and off you go. So I highly recommend these big long ones if you've got lower back pain. But bottom line though, these are your standard TENS pads. How they attach through these little basically connectors. They're very tiny. Let me try to show you one right there. See how tiny that is? And then that goes to the wire, and then the wire comes out in a little plug in there, and it plugs right into your TENS unit. And that's kind of how that works. It's really quite simple. So these are the sticky ones that get connected via wire, and then the other types of TENS pads that you can get, and they come in all shapes and sizes, are these little clip-ons. And these connect with a clip instead of a little plug-in thing. And so you would basically buy the cords, and you've got the clips, and they just snap right on to the thing. And then of course you can get different TENS electrodes. These are kind of like these are actual gloves, and here's the clip-on. So you can see right there, you would basically plug the clip right into there, snap it on, put the glove on for things like treating neuropathy, things, whatever you've got on your hands. You can use these for your hands. This is also old school microcurrent for the users, these clinical devices. They would basically put the gloves on both hands, connect themselves so that their hands are like, microcurrent, and then they would touch the patient. So that's kind of how that works. So you can either use the clip-ons or the electrode connector ones. They're all stickies. These are stickies, these are stickies, and then of course you can wear, and then you just plug it right into your TENS unit, and off you go. And that's as simple as it can get. Now, the thing about all of this stuff, let's push this to the side, is all of the other units can also use TENS pads, but these TENS units can't use all the other electrodes. Okay, so that's where, that's why you're getting it for under 40 or 50 bucks, right? But you can use these TENS pads, my favorite. You could use these TENS pads with other devices. So just like this one here, this is what I was talking earlier. This is the RITM Sport Model D. And so now this guy you can, like again, and of course the biomodulator, you can plug in your TENS pad. So you can make it a TENS, but it also does much more. So one of the things that's really cool about the rim And the CNARs is they've got this one long probe right here. This goes with the ART ITM, and basically it's a external probe on a wire so that you can hold your device in one hand while you're manipulating the settings, and then with your other hand put this, like, you put it on your back, put it on your leg. But it's just a lot easier to use with this external one than to actually use the electrode on the other side of this case right here. So now these come in different flavors. I also have one of these same external extension electrodes right here. I use this, if I use the biomodulator, I use this. I rarely just put this thing on whatever hurts, because I'd like to hold this in my hand while I'm looking at it so I can see the different settings or the different readouts. And then I'm using this external, basically it's an extension electrode for extension, electrode on an extension cord. So that's kind of what I do too. So then with this old one here I don't use anymore. I had the extension. But also too, I got this for trying to treat the dog. This is for your scalp. This is for your furry critters right here. It's called a brush electrode, and basically it's the same thing as your extension electrode, but instead of having a flat surface, you've got something that can penetrate hair and fur. And so then I would use that to treat my dog. In fact, if I ever need to do a microcurrent on the dog, I got to pull out this guy again, watch the videos and learn how to use it again, and then I use this probe to go through the fur. So that's kind of what's important. Again though, with animals though, there is fur, but just to kind of give you a heads up, if you don't have this electrode but you have one of these electrodes, or just the device itself which has a built-in electrode, if you use electrode gel, it'll actually penetrate the fur as well. In terms of the current will penetrate the fur. So you don't have to have a specific electrode for fur. You just need some electrode gel and any device, and it'll go ahead and you can go ahead and use that device on the animal. But of course you can't put stickers on an animal. It just doesn't work. Now let's talk about super advanced electrodes that come with the biomodulator. Well, they don't come. You have to, some come with them. I forget which one comes with it and which one doesn't. I bought the quote set, so it all came with this stuff. Anyway, so basically here's your biomodulator. It's an advanced microcurrent device, and some of the electrodes I wanted you to be aware of is this big old Y electrode. This thing is used specifically for vagus nerve stimulation, also for reaching your back. You can imagine how much easier it is to reach hard to reach places with this long electrode. I talked about this puppy. Then you've got this little guy right there. You see this guy right there? Now, remember that electro acupuncture device? Well, this is a probe for that. You could use this microcurrent device with this probe, and you see that little tiny thing, and then you just put that on your meridian points, and you can do electro acupuncture with that. Warning, do not use this for your teeth. Okay, so, but you can use this for electro acupuncture for pinpoint precision. And then you've got, like, for one of the tenant protocols is full body charging, like if you're really low on energy and you just need to do a full body charge. Then it comes with the foot plates, and it also comes with the handhelds. So you're kind of doing like some old school, arcade kind of thing where you're holding on to the handhelds, you got your feet on the plates, and you're charging your whole body with microcurrent from head to toe to give yourself a full body voltage charge. Tennant is the father of healing with voltage, so it's all about voltage, right? So that's kind of what these guys do, is for that 4-step protocol. And then the creme de la resistance of the microcurrent world is the only one, this guy, that has this thing. What is this thing, you might ask? It's called a biotransducer. And what this does is it creates a scalar field and allows the microcurrent to penetrate deep into your tissues. Because the biggest issue, and this is going to be something you all need to be aware of, is no matter what device you have, it's subjected to this rule of physics called the inverse square law. And basically your body is going to absorb the energy coming into it, whether it be microcurrent or whatever other energy. And as your body absorbs it, specifically to microcurrent, the whole idea though is for every inch of flesh you have, you're losing energy, right? So by the time it gets deep into you, depending on how thick you are, the actual current and or the frequency that's being carried by the current is so diminished because your bones and flesh have absorbed all that energy that it may never get all the way down to your, let's say, pancreas, or you're trying to get into something. Now, if you're super, super skinny, probably not an issue, but the average American is not super, super skinny. So the idea behind this device right here, the biotransducer, was to not only basically broadcast. It's like an antenna, but it's a pinpoint antenna. You turn this puppy on and it's going to then, basically using scalar waves, it's going to send that current deep into your tissue so you can treat your internal organs. Because this guy right here and any one of these things is only going to basically work for anything that's like a couple inches deep in your body. Okay, or you know, like a few inches. I don't even know what the math is. All I know is that this is a thing. So the reason that you would want this is for deep issues that you're treating deep inside your body if you're larger than the skinny little guy. Also too, this guy I found it's exceptional at treating my animals. When I want to treat the dogs, getting them to sit around and letting me do this to them, they're just not, dogs, right? And so, but what I could do is while they're sleeping, I just sit next to them and I'm just like waving the wand across them and I'm giving them a treatment and they don't even feel it because it's getting broadcast by this little antenna. So this thing is really, really valuable in terms of not only can it reach places that most of these other probes will never be able to reach in terms of giving you a full dosage of microcurrent, but also too, you can also treat animals. All right, so that's kind of how that works. So again, my main thing, guys, is this guy works great. Like when I just have my back is sore, I'll take this guy and plug him into this guy, because this is like my quote fancy tens, and I just slap this on my back. I love this guy, and then of course I love this guy, and I love this guy, and so that's really kind of what works here for me. And there you go. That's what you need to know about electrodes. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate your patronage and the time you spend and just, watching the stuff I put out. I really appreciate it. I hope this was educational for you. Now, if you want to learn more about me, you just go to tinkers.academy, on the internet, and that goes to my blog. Of course, I've got this YouTube channel. And then also, too, I have a health and healing Telegram group. I'll put the link in the video description below, where, I invite people who are interested in health and healing in any of its forms to come on and join us and join the discussion. We are very, very active in terms of just talking about all the different things you could ever imagine that have to do with health and healing. So, that's where that group is, and it's a chat group. And so, yeah, I've been running it for several years now, and it's kind of it's a great group of folks. And lastly, if you like this type of content, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Always can use more people to support the channel. So, hey, thanks a lot. I hope you found this educational. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Aloha.